Hi guys, welcome to another tutorial. Like the thumbnail said, this video is about making your own mini skirts. For this mini skirt, you're going to be needing your measuring book, your pencil, eraser, straight ruler, curved ruler, paper, scissors, and fabric scissors. First off, writing of the few measurements we need: your waist, your hips, and the length of the skirt. Mine is 31.5 for my waist, 40 for my hips, and 18 inches for the length of my skirt. So just write that down. It could be anywhere. I'm writing this on the corner of the paper so that we can use that as reference all throughout the tutorial. Link to the video on how to take your own measurements will be in the description box. First thing you're going to need to do is measure out our border line. That's the starting line, which is 1 inch. So I'm just marking 1 inch across the paper. And then it's just rule across, connect all the lines together. Then next you want to measure your hips. Measurement of your hips divided by 2. Mine is 40, so divided by 2, that's 20. To do this, just fold your tape into 2. Touch the point of 40 and fold across. You just get your hip like that. Just fold the tape the way I did it to get. You don't need to go find the calculator measuring half or whatnot. Just fold your tape into 2 to the point that you want and fold into 2 and you get your exact measurement. So that's me marking 20 inches on my paper. That's the half of my hips divided by 2. My hip measurement divided by 2. Then I'm rolling that across, rolling that line to connect to the border line. Then next thing you want to measure rolling that straight across. Yes, that's my hip measurement divided by 2. Then the next thing you want to measure is the half of that measurement to get your front and your back. So I'm going to be dividing that 20 I just got into 2, which is going to give me 10. So whatever yours is, just divide it by 2. The way I'm doing it, just fold your tape into 2 and then mark that measurement. Starting from from where I started from, just mark it. Please, I forgot to say this in the intro. When you want to draw your own pattern, please use a pencil and an eraser so that if you make any errors, you can clean. I'm only using a marker just because I'm trying to teach a tutorial. If I was doing this for my personal use, I would be using a pencil and an eraser because you're bound to make mistakes. So here I'm measuring the length of my skirt. My skirt length is 18 inches. So that's what I'm doing. I'm measuring it from the border line. Whatever measurement you're taking on this, you're starting from the border line, not the edge of the paper. That line is your border line. So that's me marking my 18 inches and I'm ruling, connecting all the lines together. Connecting all the lines. So the next thing you want to measure is our hip line. I have a formula for getting my hip lines. For hip sizes that are 35 and below, I like to use 8 inches. That's 35, 34, 33 and below, just 8 inches. For hip sizes 36 to 38, that's 36, 37, 38, I use 8.5. Hip sizes 39, 40, 41, 42 to whatever, I like to use 9 inches. So for this, that my hip is 40, I'll be using 9 inches. That's what I'm marking now, 9 inches. Then connect all the lines together. Next thing you want to measure is our dart line. The standard line for that standard measurement for a dart line is 4 inches. So just go ahead and mark 4 inches on the paper and roll the line, connect all the lines together. So now I'm writing out what each line means. This is my dart line. This is my hip line. And that's the waist line. Now I'm going to go forward and indicate where my front and my back is. So this is my center front, and that's on the other side is my center back. That's my back. Your center back means the center of the back, and center front means the center of the front. That's what it means. So now I'm going to measure my darts. Now everybody has their unique dart measurement, but because this is a skirt, I'm going to be using the standard is 4 inches. So starting on the waistline, we're going to mark 4 inches, put it on the 1 inch line, and then mark half and half on each side. Come down again to your dart line and measure the same 4 inches. Connect all the lines from the waist to that 4 inches point on the dart line. Just like that. So those are your dart legs. You go to the center back and do the same thing you just did in the front and the back. Measure 4 inches on the waistline. Get half and half on each side of that line. Come down to the dart line, measure another 4 inches, and connect all the lines to the 4 inches line on the dart line. Our skirt is almost ready. Next up, we want to get our waist measurements. Our waist measurement here is 31.5, but we can't mark down paper, so we divide by 4 because this pattern is into 4. I will explain what that means later. Divide by 4. So you fold your tape once, get that measurement, then fold again to the new measurement you just got. Fold again. That's how you divide by 4 on a tape, so that you don't have to go and be using a calculator. Just do this and you get your exact measurement divided by 4. So you take that measurement you just measured and put it in the beginning from the center front line. Get up to the point of the first dart leg. Take it, cross it over to the other side. Continue from that point and mark. That's how you get your exact waist. Do the same thing on the back. From the beginning of the center back line, stop in the first dart leg. Hold that measurement. Take it across to the end of the darts. And from that point, you mark. That's your waistline. But if you don't understand that, you want me to explain, just ask and I'll explain it very well in the comment section. Connect that waist point to the dart line. Connect the one on the front, center front, to the same point on the hip line. Sorry, on the hip line, not the dart line. Now, this is a standard skirt, but because we're making a pencil skirt, a pencil mini skirt, you're going to be taking 1 inch on the end, yes, at that point where your skirt length ends. Connect from the hip line to that point. That's how you make a pencil skirt. On that end, take another 1 inch from the back and connect it to that hip line. Just like that. That's how your pattern for your pencil skirt is made. We're almost done. So on the center front part, because of the bulge on the stomach, we take away half an inch to support the stomach. Take that half inch, connect it to that point on the waistline, just like that. Please guys, just do it exactly the way I'm doing. It's standard for every body, big, small, whatever the body size. Just take half an inch and connect to that waistline. You don't do anything at the back, it's only at the front. So guys, now it's time to cut out this pattern. Cut exactly the way I'm cutting. Cut on all the lines that I cut. Please, when you're cutting the waist, you cut the new line, not that top line. We don't longer need that line. It's the new line. That's our new waistline. Marking this now for my front. Cut on fold. I will explain what that means when it's time to cut. Cutting out my back. We don't want sharp edges, so please, on that hip line, use your curve ruler to round those edges. Make it rounded. Nobody's body is straight, so we're rounding off that area. Calling this my back. Cut times 2. I'll explain what that means. It means cut 2 pieces, but when you're cutting, I'll explain what that means. So now this is my front and this is my back. I'm smoothing the edge of the back. It's not looking smooth enough, so I'm trimming, just trim out. So now my pattern is ready. Time to cut the fabric. You're going to be needing your pins, ruler, chalk, fabric scissors, measuring tape, pattern paper, curved ruler, fabric and lining for the fabric. So now you're going to be folding your fabric into 2. I'll explain what I meant by cut on fold. This is my front pattern. What I meant by cut on fold, when you fold your fabric into 2, the part that is folded, not the part, yes, that part where the fold starts from, that's where you place the edge of your pattern paper, the part that I wrote cut on fold, the beginning of the center front, because the front doesn't have any joining, it's smooth, so that's where you pin. That's what I meant by cut on fold. And now I'm going in with my chalk. I've pinned everything down. On the waist part, you're going to be taking 1/2 inch for allowance. So that's me marking out my 1/2 inch. On the sides, I like to use 1 inch. So I'm marking out 1 inch. What I like to do when I get to the waist, the hip line, I like to extend it so that I can get the accurate line on which my hip starts from. I'm marking that 1 inches all the way down. So now I'm going to connect all those lines together. Connect the waist straight across. And then connect the allowances on this side. Straight across too. Connect it all straight across that. Then on the down at the edge of the fabric where our length stops, I'm going to be using 1 inch for allowance to fold in 1 inch. So that straight across, and now we're going to be cutting out. Cut on exactly the lines that you have drawn out, just like that. And our front pattern is ready. Onto the back now, fold into 2 just like the front, but this time we're not going to be putting the beginning at the edge because our back is going to have joining, which means that we're going to have a position where we're going to be putting our zip. So we need to cut that part, and it needs its own allowance, so we don't need to cut that on the fold. That's what I meant by cut into 2 pieces. So just when you're putting it, check around that there's enough space around the fabric to be able to get allowance on the sides, on the center, for the zip, on top and below. So this is me using my tape to check that I have enough fabric on the side for my allowance. So that's it. I'm ruling out again. I'm taking 1 inches for my side allowance. For the zip allowance, I'm taking another 1 inch. Ruling that straight across. For the waist again, same as the front, I'm taking 1/2 inch. Every other thing is the same when you're cutting the front and the back, but just that the back has a join on the back for the zip. And then cut out, and our back pattern is ready. Time to cut the waistband. We're cutting 2 pieces of this waistband. So what you're going to do, you're going to be measuring your waist divided by 2, just like that. Your waist divided by 2, and then you're going to be fixing that measurement. please put your fabric on fold. I'm sorry, the side you can't see is the part that is on fold. So start your measurement from there and put that half measurement on it. So now I'm going to roll that straight. I'm going to measure the allowance I have at the back, which is 1 inch for the zip, and I'm putting it on the waistband. I'm rolling that straight across. So now my waistband is going to be 2 inches wide, so half inches to join it at the top and half inches for the bottom. That makes it 3 inches. So that's what I'm marking right there, 3 inches for my first waistband, and then another 3 inches underneath that. That's 9. Then another 3 inches underneath that for my second waistband, and I'm rolling that straight. I'm going to cut this all out, and my 2 waistbands will be ready. Please guys, remember I said the part wasn't showing. I'm sorry it didn't show. That's the part I was talking about. It's on fold. So this is your waist into 2. That's what I meant. Half of your waist, cutting it on fold. That's 2 waistbands. So that's my band, that's my front pattern, and that's my back. The next video will have the sewing process. Please guys, don't forget to watch that. Until the next one, thanks for watching. Bye.